to my next gen Ranger build. Just a short bit of history with the last two Rangers, or one before this one. I had a PK Ranger 2010, that was the first generation Ranger. That was a good truck, never let me down. So virtually I've skipped a whole generation, which is the Gen 2, and now I have the Gen 3. And what can I say about it? I love it. She's a V6 diesel, and I'd just like to show you around it. The mods I had pre-rego, and the stuff I just added on the last few weeks. I've only had the vehicle for 2 weeks, so I'll show you around, and then I'll show you the future mods I'm going to be doing very soon. Alright, I'll start from the front. So the driving lights are Steedies, Type X Pros. They're just mounted, they're not wired up yet. We have the Summit 2 bar from ARB, and that's it from the front. I haven't gone for a winch this time, so see how we go with that, eh? But hopefully it doesn't, I don't get into trouble for not having one. Right, we'll go around the side. We have the Safari snorkel, which is a V-spec. That's the middle of the road one. Tyres and rims. We have the Falcon Wild Peaks, all terrain. My last Ranger I had muds, MTs, and so I've taken a step back, or 2 steps back, and gone for all terrain. So pretty good tyre so far. And yeah, so these are 285 by 70s by 17s on a 9-inch rim. These are ROH. What's the model number? Vulcans. Yeah, so I was going to get the Assaults, and I'm changing mine and went for the Vulcans. Just something different, that's all. Yeah, so they're aluminium. My last Ranger was steel. So yeah, we'll see how that goes as well. With the flares, they're EGR, but they're Ford flares, which they use EGR. So I've gone for the fake bolt ones, and yeah, so they look not too bad. So pretty happy with that. There is a mistake at the front. They've left a 2-inch gap there, which I don't like, which I'll show you now. Right here. So I've seen other next gen Rangers with that filled in with the same EGR flare, because it comes in 2 pieces and it follows the original bumper bar down here. So obviously there's no bumper bar, it's a bull bar. So I have seen them cut 2 inches here roughly to fill in this gap. So I'm going to take it back, get that fixed. So basically, spotlights, the tyres and rims were done after rego, and the stuff I haven't mentioned, like the suspension, was done pre-rego with the GVM upgrade. So I've gone for the Old Man Emu from ARB, and the GVM upgrade is 3.5 tonne. I was going to go to the 3650, but it meant putting 600 constant leaf springs in the back. It just would have made it too hard, because most of the time I'm not towing, so I tow a caravan as well. So, and there's going to be extra weight going on the back of the ute, which I'll explain later. But so I decided on the 300, and if that wasn't going to be enough, I was going to add airbags to it. So I did a test run with the caravan a couple of days ago up the Putty Road. You know, it's got 80 and 100k zones there, and steep hills and all that, and it handled like a dream. It didn't drop. I don't think it dropped at all in the back. Maybe by the eye, if I measured it, it probably dropped. But you know, I took it for about at least 30-40k run, and it towed like a dream. This V6 is amazing. But and the gearbox, by the way, that 10 speed, it's good. It gets a little bit, when you put it in tow haul mode, it wants to gear down too much down hills. It tries to engine brake you downhill. So what I end up doing was just going into manual mode and just do it manually, and it worked out fine. Has a integrated electric brakes. They come standard, and the way they work, they're very progressive, and they're not like, I used to have a Red Arc Tow Pro in the old Ranger, and it always shunted, it sent a big shock through to the brakes and always pulling you. This is sort of a little bit hard to get used to, because it comes on like your car does, it's very sort of integrated with your car when you're slowing everything up. But you can override it with a manual mode as well. That gets them working well. But I'm very happy with it. Fuel economy around town, the way it is right now with these bigger rims and tyres, I'm getting 13.7. So the motor's only done just over 1,000 Ks now. So they reckon the more I run it in, the better the fuel economy will be. And I hope so too, because I'm a little bit disappointed with the fuel economy, but I'd like to get into high 12s, would be nice. I'm sorry, no, I'm getting 12.7. When I first got it, it was doing 13.7s, now I'm doing 12.7. So I'd like to get it down to the low 12s if I can. And yeah, otherwise, I don't know, price of diesel these days. The towing figures, I don't know yet. I've got a Queensland trip coming up in 2.5 months time, roughly. I'll go into that later too. So, yeah, all right, I'll show you what I'm doing around the back of the car. The back of the car is just all stand at the moment, but the sports bar's coming off and a canopy's going on. So I'll show you what I'm doing there. Very light tailgate. It's just a box of shit in there at the moment. Yeah, so what's happening here, the sports bars will come off, and I'm going with an aluminium canopy from Rhino Man. They're made in South Africa. It's getting built right now apparently, and it should be shipped in June sometime. Shipped over here in June. What's it called? The Extreme. Rhino Man Extreme aluminium cab. So it's going to have a glass window at the back, glass windows on the side, both sides. I'm a little bit apprehensive about the glass windows on the side, but I've got a dog and he comes with us most trips. So with the glass window on this side, it's a gull wing type, and then it has a sliding glass window about here, just enough to get his head through, and it's got a sliding glass window at the front, so that'll give him plenty of air inside, and I'll also put a fan in there for him. With the aluminium canopy, they're rated at 1/4 of a tonne on the roof, so that appeals to me, because further down the track I might end up with a rooftop tent. And I'm going with the awning as well, a 270-degree Bush Company awning, and their platform rack goes on top as well, so there's roughly 50 to 60 kilo, plus the rooftop tent can be 80 to 120 kilo depending which one I go for. So you're knocking on a bit of weight there. That's the dynamic weight is 250 kilo, and static weight is, it's either 400 or 450 kilo. So that's enough for fat bastards like me anyway. In the tub, this is the air compressor. I don't know what I'm gonna, well, I'd love it. It's just the price. It's ARB. So they have a integrated twin air compressor that fits in here. It goes inside this cavity completely, and it has a metal bracing on brackets and all that. It goes inside it, you don't even see it. So it just has the air outlet and a switch, or you can have your switch inside the car or in the cab. I don't know where the power, well, they might, if they have the lithium battery by then, they'll probably hook it up to that. So I don't know where they get the power from. That's a big maybe. It's $1,200. bucks. That's supplied and fitted. Then you got to buy your hosing and all the other shit that goes with it. So I don't know, it could end up being 1,400 bucks. Or do I just have a shit King's thumper, which I've had 2 of them go on me already. You know, I don't know. So I'm looking at that. On this side, on the left side here, so basically I'm going an upright fridge as soon as the canopy goes in. So I don't know if I'm going to go the 85 or the 110 litre, probably an 85, which should bring me about up to here. I think 110 maybe an inch or 2 higher and a little bit wider and a little bit deeper. You know, it's using a tub canopy, it's sort of limited for space, so I probably will end up with an 85 litre. So the fridge will go here, and I want all that. I'm not going any drawers because I want to use this ute, or most of it, at least 3/4 of it as a ute still. So I want to go with this sort of style. This is too big, I'm getting rid of this. So I'm getting half the size, and use a modular system and pack all my crap in here. But in that far left hand side, that's where the battery's going, over the axle or just in front of the axle, and an inverter's going in there. So the lithium battery I'm going on, I know it might be a bit of overkill, but it will be definitely over 200 amp hour lithium. The one I'm looking at is a 280 amp hour. So it's going to be a power paw or something like that, which is custom made. Well, there's this mob in Queensland, I can't think of their name. They've got a 280 as well, and it's in a stainless steel battery case. So I thought that would be alright too. If it gets bashed around, it should handle, you know, a few knocks. Maybe a 3,000 watt inverter, definitely a 2,000 and up inverter. Yes, I know, but I don't want to cook with gas, so I'll be going induction, and a coffee machine. And what's the third one I'm going with? Induction, coffee machine, air fryer. That's it. I know, but I don't know if I can do it. I'm going to do it. So yeah, I know it's a bit of a wank thing, but I think it'd be pretty cool, convenient, and all that sort of stuff. With the battery, I don't know. I was thinking about the slim line as well, which would go in here pretty much in there. But if I go the 280, I'm going to have to go towards the front, which will take up a lot of floor space there. Unless I lift it up somehow, or get over that wheel arch and brace it, or do something like that, I don't know. The inverter will be up, it should fit on the wall here, along here somewhere. And I'll have me like a control box here with the SIG sockets, USBs, Anderson plug, all that will be just here, like a gap, and the fridge. I've got to leave enough room here. That's basically it for the back of it. I'm not running the dual battery system in the engine bay because Ford have provided a provision for a dual battery system in there. But I want the battery up here. The battery I won't fit in there anyway. Not even close. I think they only go as big as maybe 100 amp hour if you're lucky. Some people saying smaller, but I'm not going to use it. So it's going to be here. What other stuff I'm doing in the back here? I think that's about it. The fridge, lithium battery, inverter, the DC to DC charger, and a solar charger. I'm running them separate. I'm not going to run like I did with my other Ranger, like a 25 amp projector I had. That was had an integrated solar controller in the DC to DC charger. It works okay, but I want to drive charging the battery and also solar charging the battery at the same time. And that's where there might be a product out there now, I don't know, that does that, but I'm going to separate the regulator and the DC to DC charger. So I've got two-prong attack of charging the battery. Roof rack on top of the roof over the cab here. I don't think I've seen one yet. I know that's very expensive. You've got to put that bracing down the side. I think it's about $800. Then buy the platform rack, which is another grand plus, could be, you know, I don't know. But I'm definitely having the rack here anyway. So that's where the solar panel will go on top of the aluminium cab. Okay, that's the V6 diesel, and that's that provision here, this square space here for the dual battery. Heaps of room in these things. Oh, the gap between the radiator and the front of the engine there. Diesel mechanics wet dream right there. Heaps of room. Heaps of room to work on it. So with these side steps, they're the original. They're only plastic. They're fairly solid though. I don't know what I'm going to do about them. I don't do any rock stuff like rock hopping or anything. I only do beach fishing and dirt tracks like I'm on now and stuff like that. Yeah, so, oh, that's what I forgot to mention, was now, if anyone's buying one of these and they're going to put a tub on it, fiberglass or aluminium, doesn't matter, it's got to have a J-brace in here. So I don't know if you can see it, it goes in there, up around there, they J-brace it. It's a weak point, so they won't install them unless you've got one of those J-braces, and they've got to be done by Ford. I had mine fit and supply for $450, so yeah, it's one thing you've got to keep in mind. Also with the V6 variants, they've got disc brakes on the rear, so they've updated the rear diff on these V6s, so you can carry more weight. I think they're up, the GCM's up to, I think, 6.4 or 6.3, something like that. So, you know, that's good. So if you're towing, you know, a big van and you got all this loaded up, plus I've got the GFM upgrade, you know, you're going to be safe, I suppose. And these days they're pulling all these people over and getting done for it. So that's a bit of a bonus. So that's it, guys. That's the update with the mods. And any future ones, I'll do videos on them too. So main idea behind this is a bit of changing content for the YouTube channel, and some hints for other people who are going down the same journey I am. So next major one will be that canopy, the aluminium canopy. I'm driving to Queensland and get it fitted. I'm going to charge $500 for freight, and I've got half my family live in Maroochydore, and that's where they are, bush company or close to, and I'm going to make a holiday out of it. So I'll get it all fitted by them up there, and yeah, so UHF, these will be wired up in 2 weeks time. I might do a video on that. I don't know if everyone's seen the spotties, everyone knows what a UHF is and what they look like. It's going to be hidden behind the dash anyway, and just the mic exposed, everything done on the mic. Yeah, and then probably the second battery system, dual battery system, will be the next major one after that, because once the canopy goes on, I'm going to start building the fridge. Yeah, so there'll be a bit of content to come. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, back at home, I've got to show you the interior. So what I've done here, I've got those bedrock floor mats, or 3D molded floor mats. They're great. They work great, they fit well, they're Australian made. And also with the seat covers, I've got the blue stitching. They're custom made by Global Automotive. Also in the back as well. And the moulded mats at the back as well. It's all one piece. It goes up and over the drivetrain here and then continues on. It's all one. Great if you do a lot of sand stuff. You just lift them up and tip the sand out. And it's also got the provision here to zip around, unzip that, and You can open your console up, and there it's that, I don't know what they call that wetsuit material. Yeah, so if you spill anything, it won't go through. Yeah, they fit really well. There's no straps or anything like that. They're really easy to fit. They go up and over the headrests quite easy. They fit really well, and they velcro. That's how they stay in place. I'll just get out and show you. Down here they just velcro like that, and that's all you do. Pull it nice and tight. They fit really well. So that's the back seat, obviously. I'll show you the front. That's what the front look like. Yeah, so that's Global Automotive. They're not cheap. So I'm gonna stuff it. I think they cost me $740 or $750, and I didn't get the center console. I wish I'd done now. Wish I'd done it. I think there was an extra $70 or something like that, because that'll probably be the first thing that wears out. So I'll get that soon. And yeah, so these are obviously wider. They're a lot larger, well, not a lot larger, but they are larger than the older model Ranger inside. They feel wider, they feel longer. Yeah, so that's about it. Alright, I just thought I'd show the interior, and catch you later.